Sydney. Anthony Albanese's meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Beijing on Monday will mark a success for the Australian Prime Minister, who has managed to mend once fractured relations with his country's largest trading partner without compromise. Choose Your Plan Arrow Right. The event will apparently be Albanese's first trip abroad. A week ago, Albanese was in Washington, making a not-so-subtle attempt to reduce his country's dependence on China when it comes to critical minerals. Albanian-American officials have announced a series of measures to divert Australia's vast reservoir of critical minerals, metallic elements, minerals vital to clean energy technologies, some advanced weapons systems away from being processed in China, instead ship new facilities in their respective countries. China has an advantage, and that means we have to work a little harder and a little faster. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo warned at an event she attended with Albanese. They have the technology and sustained investment to dominate the critical minerals market, he continued. And we all know that if China points this new direction against us, it could cause great suffering very quickly. Albanese's tone was more cautious ahead of the first trip to China by an Australian Prime Minister in 7 years, which begins in Shanghai on Saturday. But Australian officials also worry that Beijing will disrupt critical mineral supply chains. It's a move that could disrupt the world's transition to cleaner energy and undermine China's military rivals. China has restricted trade in critical minerals in the past because of its market dominance. Australian Resources Minister Madeleine King told The Washington Post, so we need to keep our eyes open to the potential of these restrictions. And if we don't diversify, we will be beholden to them in the future. In China, the flurry of U.S.-Australian cooperation on critical minerals is raising fears that military cooperation could leak into areas that threaten Beijing's profitability at a time when China's economy is struggling under constant pressure from U.S. Foundation. Australia's previous balanced policy of relying on China for economy and U.S. for security has been eroded, said Yu Lei, professor international politics at Shandong University, state-affiliated tabloid The Global Times. The conflict over critical minerals is just one front in the intensifying geopolitical conflict between Beijing and Washington. The two superpowers are increasingly pushing for influence in the Asia-Pacific, where China's growing military might and assertiveness are spurring new American security initiatives, including a resurgent Quad and a landmark deal to supply Australia with nuclear-powered submarines. Racing. In perhaps his most significant move, President Biden last year banned the sale of advanced computer chips and chip manufacturing technology to China. The chip war threatened to spread to critical mines. China recently